agenda.
Okay.
Just to remind you.
Yeah,
Rebecca, would you call the roll?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Clay, Beston, and Ward are excused this evening. Tomisso?
Here.
Malowitz? He's here. Epicoro?
Here.
Ethier?
Here.
Collins?
Here.
And Lockhart.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start off with the previous business. Approving the previous minutes.
I make a motion, we accept them.
We have a
Second.
motion, we have a second.
Second.
We have a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Okay, go ahead.
All right, we're going to skip to item 6 to take the sheriff first. Item 6 is authorizing an agreement with Northeastern Rescue Vehicles for the purchase of an ambulance and amending the 2024 Sheriff's Office budget.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is to move $171,000 from what we call a reserve account. That reserve account is built with monies that are recouped from insurance revenue. So in our paramedics and EMTs transport, we bill the insurance company, that money's come in, that goes into a reserve account. We use that money for stretchers, AEDs, ambulances, fly cars. So at this point, I'd like to move $171,865 into our vehicle budget to purchase one chassis, that will be remounted with a box off another ambulance.
I make a motion, we accept that.
We have a motion, do we have a second? We do. Those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against?
Item 7 is authorizing an agreement with the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee regarding the 2024 Police Traffic Services Grant.
Mr. Chairman, this is to receive $11,550. This goes towards seatbelts, car checks, cell phone, distracted driving, things like that for our department for the next year. It runs out, the budget, or the grant technically runs out September 30th of 2024, but we run to December 31st of 2024.
Any questions?
Is this where you give tickets out to people?
We go to Cohoes specifically.
As long as you eliminate the holes, I'll support this. I make a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. We do. Those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries.
Item 8 is authorizing an agreement with the Department of Housing and Urban Development regarding the Community Project Funding Grant and amending the 2024 Sheriff's Office budget.
So, Mr. Chairman, this is something that's been in the works for, oh my gosh, probably 24, 28 months. Congressman Tonko came up toward our homeless improvement shelter, loved the idea, put us in for a round of funding. We cleared all the hurdles, got through the Senate and the House. It was finally approved, but it's been a very slow process. So we finally got the approval for the 500 to come to us. So I'm asking to accept it, but I'm also asking for permission for an early signature on the contract because the person handling the grant for this NDC is going out on leave and she wants to kind of wrap it all up. So I'd like to ask permission to receive it and to have an early signature from our county attorney, who I have conferred with on this as well.
Any questions?
Make a motion?
Motion, do we have a second?
Yeah.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Item 9 is authorizing an agreement with Securus Technologies regarding telephone services at the Albany County Correction and Rehabilitative Services Center.
Mr. Chairman, so this is our vendor Securus, handles the inmate telephones and the tablets. This contract, this round of funding for 3 years, they will pay Albany County $625,000 a year, totaling up $1,875,000 at a minimum. Historically, we come in much higher than this, so we anticipate the contract to be about $800,000 a year. So it's money's coming into the county.
Very good. Any questions?
No? Make a motion?
No questions, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We do. Those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries.
Item 10 is approving the 2024 Albany County Stop DWI Plan and authorizing an agreement with the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
So this is the county DWI plan. When we put this plan together, we usually have funding for the district attorney's office for a specialized DWI prosecutor, funding for Albany County probation for specialized DWI probation officers, education awareness, rehab, public information. Basically, our goal is to increase awareness and reduce the numbers of impaired drivers on our county roadways. The total grant is $570,937.
Make a motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second? We do. Those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries.
Item 11 is authorizing agreements with participating municipalities regarding emergency medical technician services.
So this one, the first one is for advanced life support services for $2,735,000. This covers the towns of Bethlehem, Byrne, Queens, New Scotland, Rensselaerville, and Westerlo. We try to keep our paramedic program budget neutral. It's a little bit higher than anticipated from years past, mainly because they got new contracts. We pushed for recruitment and retention, so we were able to negotiate a good contract. The downside is that the town's cost went up a little bit, but that's it.
Make a
Any
motion.
questions? See, there are none. Motion by Mr. Ethier, second. Those in favor? Anyone opposed?
And item 12 is authorizing agreements with participating municipalities regarding advanced life support services.
So this is the EMT portion, EMT defibrillation services, which is worth 1.4 for the county. This is Delmar Bethlehem Volunteer Ambulance Services at 800, Town of New Scotland, Rensselaerville, Byrne, and Westerlo. Again, this is all reimbursable. It's a little bit higher due to the same exact issue with the paramedics. Good contracts. So we fought hard to get them a contract to keep them from going out and working multiple shifts for other agencies. So hopefully we can keep them and have somebody that's alert and ready to respond.
Any questions?
Make a motion.
Question? Sheriff, it just kind of brought to mind that all these different municipalities are basically paying you to provide that service, right?
Yes.
It brought to mind Albany. Have you heard anything about the money that they owe us for the protection that you've been providing down there?
Absolutely not. We bill, but there's usually no response.
No response. You're still trying though.
Yeah, we do try.
Appreciate the effort.
Yeah.
It just kind of brought to mind. Kudos to all the other ones that pay.
Any other questions? Motion?
I made a motion, yeah.
Made a motion, second?
Second.
We have a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? 13.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you,
Good night.
Sheriff.
Item 13 is authorizing an agreement with Northern Rivers Family of Services regarding Raise the Age Enhanced Case Management and Community Support. Director Connors is here this evening.
Good evening. This is a contract renewal and an increase with the provider Northern Rivers. They provide enhanced case management and community support to Raise the Age youth. They also work with their families in different areas. And Northern Rivers also contracts with Trinity, who provides snug workers to the youth that are referred. Families usually involved from 90 to 120 days. This is 100% funded by New York State under Raise the Age funds.
Any questions?
Question?
Yes.
Hi, good evening. I know this is Raise the Age. Do you have a breakdown, because in the backup I saw that you actually accept 14 and 15-year-olds and their families, and then, of course, over the Raise the Age. Do you have a breakdown of how many 14 and 15-year-olds, and then how many 16 and 17-year-olds?
Well, the designations are quite different. So Raise the Age could be as young as 12 in some matters and as high as 17 in other matters. So
I'm sorry, could you say that
as young
again?
as 12 in some matters and as high as 17 in other matters. So it's not only adolescent offenders, it's JD offenders that meet the Raise the Age criteria.
So if they were JD at 12, is that what you're saying?
Yes, they could be referred also.
Okay, so we're not talking about,
Not strictly adolescent offenders, no.
okay. And the adolescent offenders are going to be offenders that are JDs?
Adolescent offender would be an AO, they would call it.
Okay,
Someone that's age 16 to 17-year-old that commits a crime as defined, certain felonies, and they would go to a different court, an adolescent court, and many of those matters are returned to family court, though. They don't stay as adolescent offenders.
yeah. I thought you said 16, but what about the younger ones?
So
That's what I was kind of.
younger ones, if
wondering.
they're a felony, 15 and 16 charged with a felony, would start out as an adolescent offender, and that matter would then be transferred to family court unless they were continued to prosecute it as an AO.
Okay. And 14-year-olds?
Same thing, yes.
Same thing?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Motion?
I make motion.
Motion by Gil,
Second.
second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Going back to item 2 is a public hearing on proposed local law number B for 2024, a local law of the County of Albany, New York, amending Chapter 288 of the Albany County Code to ban speed contests and stunt behavior. Mr. Miller?
Yep. So this bill is essentially just to enhance the penalties for stuff that's already illegal. We've seen, I know this is for the public hearing, but we've seen an increase in street racing, big demonstration shows, dirt bike groups riding through the town and stuff, and nothing's been able to stop them too much. So to give the law enforcement and the courts a little more leeway and strength in addressing these things, this raises the fines, doubles that, I believe, right, we said, and then also allows for imprisonment as well, for up to 15 days for repeat offenders.
Any questions?
Yeah, Matt, what is this? Kids are speeding through the,
Yeah, it's for like, sometimes we do big car shows, like with, crowds will come and they do donuts and all that kind of stuff, or, the mini bikes that are running through Albany, or dirt bikes and ATVs out in the hill
that's a
towns.
problem now?
Yeah, it's,
Big problem now?
yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Especially to social media. So that's all, they do it and then
Oh, they
post
do?
it, they show it, yeah.
Okay.
So they'd have, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Sure.
So they'd have to be, just to clarify, they'd have to be charged with a section of the traffic and vehicle law or penal law or something.
Correct. It's already,
Yeah.
it already exists, this is just
Because for
increasing.
jail, it's not just,
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
an initial fine and then it's higher fines with the ability to imprison.
Gotcha.
If it's, and restitution for if there's personal injury.
so you want to put those kids that are riding their little trikes.
If they do it over and over, yes.
I'm just kidding.
Teacher would not listen.
I make a motion, we send her with a recommendation.
Tough out there.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
We do.
This is for the public hearing, right? Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Unanimous. Number 3. Pardon? Those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Sorry about that. 3.
Same result, but.
Yeah.
Item 3 is a public hearing on proposed local law number C for 2024, a local law of the County of Albany, New York, criminalizing rental fraud. Mr. Fine?
Yeah, so this law aims to stop the deceptive practices where some people try to rent out units that they don't have any ownership stake in. So it's a fraud scheme where they fraud potential tenants.
Gary?
Any questions?
Does this happen?
Yeah.
It does
Explain
actually.
this to me.
Yeah, so a lot of people on, Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace will post apartment rentals that they have no stake in. They're just scammers that are trying to get money from people, and, they'll try to get people to send them a deposit or something without even seeing the apartment, and, some people fall for it.
Really?
It's a fake address?
It may be a fake address or maybe a real address, but just that is not theirs. They might see, oh, here's a nice property. A lot of people who have interest in,
I'll rent it.
we'll post it on Facebook Marketplace for rent and
Never check it
seek
out.
interest, and we'll put some fake photos too.
Just send a check in and
Sometimes they take the real.
Yeah, they might say, oh, we
posting
need to,
and put it into their own website.
we need to, you
So
need
the
to
money
send in
goes.
a payment on Venmo or something. There's a lot of ways to.
you know people that they business to?
I know someone who didn't fall for it, but someone attempted to trick them. They were trying to rent an apartment, it's on State Street near Washington Park.
No, I'm just-
Yeah, it actually,
So how do you enforce this?
Well, it would be complaint-based. So if someone is a false victim to such a scam or is solicited to be a victim of such a scam, they could turn it into the police.
it would be enforced by code enforcement
Yep,
officers
yep.
or any law enforcement agency.
Anyone who can write a ticket can write
Yeah,
the
but
ticket.
we're talking about Facebook. That could be in California, and someone's running the ad on Facebook, send me $100 to California, how do you enforce that for the guy in California?
Well, that would be an entirely different issue about conflict of laws, but typically it's someone who's local who's running a scam.
That's not what he said. He said it's online,
Yeah,
it's
so
Facebook.
local
it's,
people place it on
I
Facebook.
don't
It
do
could be
anything.
kept, yeah.
It's particularly an issue for sovereign citizens who don't believe they are subject to laws of man or government. So they feel that they can, they may be squatters in an apartment and trying to advertise it that way. They may be putting photos for an apartment
If
that,
they're squatters, you can call the police and get them out.
yeah, but you couldn't charge them with this offense because it doesn't exist.
I'm just trying to understand.
Understood.
It's different.
Any other questions?
It's real, what is this, what you said about frog? What the hell you say about frog?
Fraud.
Fraud.
Fraud, oh, fraud, I just said frog, it's fraud. The fraud part of this thing. Oh, fraud, you
Could be
said.
frogs involved.
He's against fraud.
He's against frogs. But all I'm saying,
Anti-fraud code.
this is all done on social media, the scam and the people that,
Or Craigslist, yeah.
Yeah, it's done a lot, quite a bit on the internet.
I am very glad my generation is long gone. You guys got your hands full with this social media nonsense.
That
How
would be
stupid
the
can
going
people
man
be to
social
do this
media.
stuff? I can't-
Well, a lot of people who fall
Probably not
victim to it are people who were coming in as students, so they're renting an apartment and they haven't had a chance to come to the area and actually check out the apartment,
Gotcha.
but they're sending money for something that they're looking to rent for the
Right.
school year, but they're not here yet, like they're from New York or from California or wherever.
So they have parents that tell them that kids to be so stupid?
Apparently not.
Do we?
Can I speak
Maybe we're wrong in
Data,
college.
seriously, I'm kind of interested, do we have any kind of data? I can see that,
Locally-
especially with this
Yeah,
college age.
we don't locally, there is for New York State and New York City especially, yes. I mean, these scams are very common and they're increasing in frequency quite a bit now. We had talked to the sheriff about it and he had said they see it. quite a
I
bit.
can see that as an issue, especially with the college kids.
Yep.
And it's so hard
Especially for
to,
a college town like Albany.
it's so hard to find an apartment now. There's not a lot of available apartments. It's
In Albany,
probably a lot of puts people in a desperate
In Albany, you
position.
get all you want. There's a lot of apartments available in Albany. And I speak to those students, because I rent to students all over the world, okay? And what they do, and I have students from China, Korea, and first thing they do is they get online and can you send us pictures? Can, you know, and they do the whole 9 yards. And, I mean, they, before they even come here, they all have contacts in Albany already, especially the Indians, the ones that come from India. And they go and check out the apartments for them, and they get back to the people in India. And they all do wire transfers now too, as far as what the money goes, so, you know, it's not like they're just out there in the blue and having no idea what they're looking at in Albany, New York, for an apartment. They have a good idea, you know exactly what the apartment looks like, and they know who they're dealing with, and most of them have representatives. I don't know if you're in the Sixth Ward, same thing, if they're Chinese or Korean, or right now, Sunni's taking in a lot of Indians, a lot from India. And so, I mean, it's not like it's, they're walking into blind, they're not walking into these apartments blind. And-
Any other questions? Seeing that there are none, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion.
Can you sign me on?
We do have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against?
All right. Item 4 and 5 are tabled pending public hearing. There are no further items.
I'll show you some.
Thank you.
Technology.
Yeah.
Give you that.
What? Motion adjourned.
Second.
Thank you.